I'm used to speaking on microphone. Jordan Peterson, who probably most people know, I just saw an article he put out about 2 weeks ago in the Standard, a big newspaper in England, which was it made such a rotion on me that I actually printed a bunch of copies. And if anybody wants the article, the English is very high, but I used the Halo.ai to. There's a more posh version at the end, if anybody wants. But he said, it was entitled, Peter Jordan, My Message to the Jews. And he's arguably the most influential, definitely one of the most influential goyim in the world. And he came out with a public message to the Jews in a national English newspaper. And I plugged it into something that I learned from my Rebbe just recently, which is quite amazing. So I'll share that. Yeah, I have here. There's a code. Give them down. So he was. What's the Pasha reason why Mitzrayim turned on the Yidden? Why the Mitzrayim turned on the Yidden? If you just go according to the Pasha Pshat and the Psukim, what was it that caused the Mitzrayim to turn on the Yidden? And it said that they were worried that we were going to override them. We were having too many children, and they were worried that we were going to conquer them or join with their enemies and conquer them. So this is what Peterson said about the whole woke thing, and this is very apropos for what's going on right now. That's what he said. That this whole woke thing that's going on in the world is basically the idea of going against the successful minority. There's always a minority of super successful people, and when the society at large goes against those super successful people, that is the paradigm of Mitzrayim and Shibud Mitzrayim, and that's what's going on. Now the Yidden are the most successful minority. In this article, Peterson says a couple of things. He says a couple of shocking things. One of the things he says that's shocking, what everyone knows about the Nobel Prize thing, is that we make up 0.1% of the population, and we up 30% of the Nobel Prizes. That's a bit weird. And this was really shocking, guess how much more the Jewish average wage is than the average Catholic and Protestant wage in America? 2.5 times as much. On average, the Jew earns 2.5 times as much as the average Catholic or Protestant in America.
That's what's on the books.
And that's what's on the books. So make it more like 4 or 5 times, 6, 10, 12, depending what boroughs of New York, 20, 30%. Okay. So when the society turns, when the society at large turns on the successful minority, that is the beginning of the end for that society. And you can think of that, you'll plug that into all of history and you'll see how emistic that is. So to plug that into what my Rebbe told me a couple of weeks or so ago from Haas, he said that all of Korea now will get Torah, that everything, if something is a nivra, it is composed of 5 elements. Okay? This will be a chiddush. Moichin, et samois, gidim, basav adam, that's one, and or, with an iron. Yeah, moichin is brain or mind, et samois is bones, gidim is connecting sinews, basav adam is blood and flesh, and or is skin. Everything, if it exists, it's composed of these 5 levels. Now, for our purposes here, we'll make it very simple. We'll just call it a head and a body. Okay, but it's much more than that. But let's call it a head and a body. When the body rebels against the head, that's really bad news. And that's what's happening right now in the world. And what happens, that is the Yidden, that manifests as the Yidden getting shmeiced by the Goyim. That, or unless Hashem intervenes and protects us. But that is what anti-Semitism is. Anti-Semitism is the goof turning on the Rosh. That's a murdic idea. Why? Why would a goof turn against the Rosh? Shalom, I'm going. Why would a goof turn against the Rosh? Wouldn't the goof be saying, like, you know, if it wasn't for you, head, I mean, we're all one thing, no? We make up, like, me. If I didn't have a head, I wouldn't be much of what I am. And my head's looking down at the goof, saying, I also don't want to be without my goof. So that is the definition of gaiva. See, the definition of humility would be taking the big picture, looking at the big picture, and you've got a head, you've got a body. Okay, I'm maybe a toenail, a fingernail, a hand, you may be a kidney, a gallbladder, he may be a heart, he may be a brain, and there's all these different madrigas. Because, man, you're connected to the entire organism, you can't be without a toenail, you can't be without a fingernail. If you're a Baal Mum, if you can't serve in the base of Mikdash if you're a Kohen. You need every chelik. And Envies is, I'm a toenail, that's unbelievable. I'm part of this big thing called whatever you're called. That's Envies. Envies is looking at yourself in the cloud. And the definition of Rasha, as Chazal told us in the Agada, is a Yotzias Atzmo min cloud. That he takes himself out of the cloud. That he looks at himself as a Davar Bifnei Atzmo, something that's fragmented and separated from the entire organism. Once a chelik of the organism is seeing himself as his own thing, well, now if I'm a foot, then I don't feel so comfortable with the heart, because I would really like to be a heart. And if I'm a kidney, I'd rather be the eyes, and the eyes are looking at the brain. That's gaiva. So when the body turns against the head, that's called gaiva. That is what gaiva is. Why body? Why aren't you looking at the big picture? Why aren't you seeing everything as why aren't you seeing it as one big cloud? So the first part of creation to suffer in that situation is us, is Am Yisrael, because we are the Rosh of creation. We are the glue that binds the creator to creation. That's what Am Yisrael is. So that's really the whole inyan of Sukkah. I mentioned this briefly in Yoel's Sukkah, but I'll say it again quickly and we'll finish with Hashem. That the Abba Minim is this idea, what we just spoke about, the fancy term for that is called Yehuda Tatar, which means it's called a yichud murchav, a yichud that is comprised or composed of elements, like the Havdil, a very good football team or basketball team, whatever you like. Yeah, they act as one organism. Yeah, that's called a yichud of parts, and that's really what creation is meant to be. That's what in English we call that an organization. So that's really what we're meant to be here. And then we have what's called Yehuda Ilah, which is the idea of undifferentiated oneness, like white light. Even though white light is really, in truth, you can't say it's composed of all the other colours, but it is kind of. But it has in it all the other colours, the potential for the other colours, but it's just one thing, it's not made of parts. So these are the two different unities. There's the lower unity and the higher unity. There's the unity of parts, which is what your body is, what we are, and then there's the higher unity. So the sukkah is Miramis to a lot of things. One of the things sukkah is Miramis to is Yehuda Ilah. The absolute oneness. Why? Because everybody comes into the sukkah, no matter who you are or what you are. No matter who you are, how high you are, how low you are, you're makayim the mitzvah sukkah the same as everybody else. You sit in a sukkah. That's it. You could have bigger kavanas, but the actual mitzvah itself, it's with the paradigm of mitzvahs. Because, like we've said over and over, is Moshe Rabbeinu cannot sit in a sukkah better than I can sit in a sukkah. It's binary. You're either in the sukkah or you're out the sukkah. There's no madregas. Yeah? The Abba Minim, on the other hand, is kula madregas. It's all madregas. You've got the lulav, you've got the esrog, you've got the hadassah, you've got the aravas, you've got with tam and reyach, just tam, without anything. Yeah, you've got the spine, it's the heart, it's the eyes, it's the lips. It's all about. Then you've got also the Indian of the esrog. The esrog is the fruit that stays on the tree for the whole year. Why is that a chiddush? Because it's yonik from all the 4 seasons, from all the different times. So it's really composed of all the different kinds. So you're taking an endless riboy of parts, an endless multiplicity of parts, and you're bringing them together. And the minhag ari is to shakol lulav nesog in the sukkah, to bring the Yehuda Tata into the Yehuda Ilah, and that's the avoid. That's the first avoid of the whole year. That's the first avoid of the whole year, is to realise that this apparent, you might be a toenail and he might be eyes, yeah, and you can't compare that to the other. But that's all. Oh, is that gone? Should I shout? I'm happy to speak really. It's weird. Oh, there you go. So, oh wow. So the first avodah of the year is to get over this idea of he's more than me, he's less than me. Same thing. You might be born at the top and then everybody else you're looking at unlucky, or you might be born at the bottom and everywhere else you're thinking halavai. It's all equally shtuyot. It's all equally delusional, because it's all one, and we're just chalakim of a big thing. So the avodah of sukkahs is to bring in the Yehuda Tata into the Yehuda Ilah. That's how we begin the year, is by getting clear that we exist in context. Nikuda. We have no independent relevance. We exist in context, and all of us are as important as each other, and that's including all human beings. And even if you really want to be really profound, is including the animals and the plants and the stones as well. Everything is an equally important chalik of Hashem's ultimate composition, which we are incredibly indebted to Him for the schus of being a part of. So has someone got a tilim with them? I have. Is there tilim's close? I want tilim cuff. This is really beautiful. This is really special, and this is thanks to the computer who you can type, because now you can type in entire psukim and get the gematrias. And I was never such like a big gematria. Like, I enjoyed them, but they never really came to me. But now I keep like writing in psukim into the computer, into what's it called, torahcalc.com or something, and it comes up with other psukim that are connected, and it's moedik. It's pashat moedik. I'm so excited for when they let AI loose on the Torah, and it starts pulling out the chedushim, or at least showing us wonderful things that we never knew about. So, one quick hakdama is that Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. That's what we call Yehuda Ilah. That's Merames. That hints to this level of unity that is not made of parts. A complete unity, a complete singularity. That's Shema Yisrael. Then we have Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Le'olam V'ed. That alludes to the Yehuda Tatar, the unity of parts, which is also called Shem or Malchus, name, whatever. That's Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Le'olam V'ed. So keep that in mind. So now we have, at the end of Lamnat Sech Mizmor David, Eile v'rechev v'eile b'susim v'anachnu b'shem Hashem Elokeinu nazkir. I think you know what to sing after this. So Eile v'rechev v'eile b'susim. Why make a division between rechev and sus? Why? That's the whole inyan of the Umois Ha'olam, is they don't see the rechev and the sus, the chariot and the horse, as one thing. It's two separate parts. Eile v'rechev v'eile v'susim. That's the world of Gaiva. That's the world of Hafrada, of fragmentation, separation. Aval and v'anachnu b'shem Hashem. Why anachnu? Anachnu is first person plural. We. That's Yehuda Tatar. That's the idea of we're in it together. There's a we. So v'anachnu b'shem Hashem Elokeinu nazkir. Hey makor v'naflu. Now if we do that, v'anachnu b'shem Hashem Elokeinu nazkir, if we mamash get connected to the Yehuda Tatar, if we are Makadesh Shem Shemayim in this world, if we fulfill our role in this world as Yidden and Befrat as the people that we are individually, performing our individual shaykhs, our individual shlichus, yeah? Then Heima Kov and Aflu, they are going to bow down and fall over. Meaning Gaiva will go. Gaiva will be gone from the world. And we will stand up strong, stand up straight, without any Gaiva. Imagine standing up erect, mamash, tall and straight, but without any Gaiva. No Gaiva Bichlal. And then Adonai Hoshia HaMelech Yaneinu V'yom Kareinu. Yeah, that's when the whole thing comes together. So amazingly enough, Eile v'rechav v'eile b'susim v'anachnu b'shem Hashem Elokeinu nazkir is the exact gematria of Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuso Le'olam V'ed. And Adonai Hoshia HaMelech Yaneinu V'yom Kareinu is the exact gematria of Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. That's the Yichud Tatar merging with the Yichud Ilah. That is the Chiddush of Am Yisrael, that we are not here to dislocate ourselves in this world. We are here to be Makadish this world. This world is Kodesh and Kadoshim Mamish. That's the whole Inyan of the Sukkah. That's the whole Inyan of everything Mamish. So we should be Zocher B'ezrat Hashem to be Oived, find our little nook in this cosmic puzzle, no matter how small it is, and understand that in one Bechina the whole thing is standing on your shoulders, without any gaiva, but just with gratitude to be a part of that cosmic puzzle. That huge, that unfathomable composition that the Ribono Shel Olam is playing for us, that we're very grateful for. So we should be Zocher B'ezrat Hashem.